the board did experience some audio issues last week. So I'm going to see if Audit LA would be kind enough to unmute and provide audio input so we can confirm that we can receive input from our public commenters. Audio test. Give me 1 second. I apologize for interrupting you, Audit LA. Your audio input is not coming. I do hear it coming through the boardroom PC, but it's not coming through over the speakers. So give me 1 second, please. And I'm sorry.
Jose, you hear me? Hello?
Audio test 1, 2, 3. I am back in the room. This is TJ Knight with the Board of Public Works. Audit LA, would you mind please providing audio input, and we'll test again to see if our system can hear your audio input. Good morning. So we're not able, we cannot hear you here in the hearing room, Audit LA. I apologize. We're doing some audio testing, we're doing some troubleshooting, and we are unable to hear you clearly in the hearing room. I can unmute the audio on the conference cam, but that generally results in some feedback and echoing. Audit LA, can you? No, I mean, I can hear you very, very faintly, but it's not showing up. It's not audible really in the hearing room. Give me 1 second, I apologize. So we have Audit LA who is providing audio input, but it's not coming through. So we have commenters, folks with their hands raised on the Zoom platform, and we're attempting to troubleshoot the audio input issues that we're experiencing and experienced last week. And I apologize, but please bear with us. It's about 9:49, and hopefully we'll get this resolved prior to 10 a.m.
Can you check to the?
Test, audio test 1, 2, 3, audio test 2, 3, 4. Hello, good morning. Good morning. It's Wednesday morning, April 9th. Audit LA, can you please provide, I'm sorry that I keep calling on you, but I see that you're still unmuted. We still cannot hear you clearly in the hearing room. I apologize, Audit LA. Someone changed the settings. So we allow council.
I think it's supposed to come from here, right?
It's supposed to be broadcast. We have a Zoom setting on the panel.
Where her sound, like when she speaks. Do you ever
Council
hear
IT. No, we don't hear it in there. We hear it broadcast over the speakers. ITA set up the audio and any.
Yeah, because I think, well, Elise kept playing with the talk. I know she turned council audio off.
Yeah, the council audio should.
Yeah, because it was echoing, I think.
Good morning again, Audit LA. Would you please attempt to provide audio input?
Absolutely. Is this any better?
Now we can hear you.
Oh, great. I can hear you too. So
Just keep, if you would mind, please talking for about 30
Audit.
seconds while I adjust.
just what did you say? Now, can you repeat yourself? Because you went in and out. You need me to keep? I heard keep talking, but and that's not hard for me to do. I want to make sure I heard you correctly. Hello, hello, does this help? Hello, can you hear me? I cannot, if you're talking to me, I cannot hear you at all.
Okay.
Like I was
Thank,
hearing you and then all of a sudden
thank you
it just
so
got
much.
garbled.
Thank
Okay,
you so much, Audit LA, for assisting us as we troubleshoot our audio issues. It seems like
absolutely.
we may have resolved them at 9:52. Hopefully they'll stay so that we can hear our Zoom users throughout the meeting this morning. Thank you so much, Audit LA.
Awesome. Yeah, is that it? We're good? I'm happy to help.
Good morning once again to our attendees here in the Board of Public Works hearing room. If there's any members of the public who wish to offer a commentary, public comment, or commentary on any of our agendized items this morning, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room on the table. Indicate which item you'd like to speak on and hand it to me. If there are any members of the public on the Zoom platform who wish to offer commentary, please raise your hand. I do see a number of hands raised at this time. I will momentarily go through the hands raised and ask which items you would like to speak on. Give me just 1 second. Thank you. And good morning again, Audit LA. Which items would you like to offer commentary on this morning?
I would like to do general public comment and all agenda items. Please.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and
Thank
put
you.
you back on mute. Thank you again for helping us troubleshoot our audio issues
Absolutely.
this morning.
Anytime.
Jill, good morning.
A general comment, thank you.
General public comment?
Yes.
Very well, thank
All
you.
right.
I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute. Good morning, Gigi.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so quick, I just want to say it's doing that annoying thing where when we speak on Zoom, it just shows like the black screen. So we will not be able to see any of the commissioners when we speak today. But don't worry about that. I personally don't care. I'm just letting you know. And I would like general public comment, please.
Thank you, Gigi. To Secretariat staff who may be listening in, would you mind signing into Zoom as a attendee to confirm the information that Gigi has relayed, that in fact the visual is not available, the conference cams are not showing up as an attendee? Thank you, Gigi. I appreciate it. I have you down for general public comment. Henri, good morning.
Hey, yep, good morning, TJ. Can you please mark me down for general and all agenda items?
Very well. I have you down for general public comment and multiple agenda item commentary. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. If there are any other members of the public who wish to offer commentary on any of our items this morning and are on the Zoom platform, please raise your hand at this time, indicate which items you'd like to speak on, and I will call upon you when we reach your item. And good morning as well to any members of the public who have joined us since my last announcement who wish to offer commentary on any of our items this morning. If you have not already done so, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room. Indicate which item you'd like to speak on and hand it to me. And it is now 9:58. We should get started in the next 2 minutes. Thank you. President Corson, we are now in record mode.
Welcome, everyone, to the Board of Public Works meeting for Wednesday, April 9th. Mr. Knight, if you'd like to take roll and establish quorum for us, please.
Good morning, President Corson, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Kang, and Commissioner Mitchell are present. We have a quorum. We are joined this morning by City Attorney Representative Virginia Choi. I'm TJ Knight with the Board of Public Works. President Corson, we have one speaker card in the hearing room under public comment and 4 speaker cards on Zoom under general public comment. The one speaker in the room also wishes to offer multiple agenda item commentary, and we have 2 multiple agenda item commenters on Zoom. This morning we have no neighborhood council commentary.
All right, thank you, Mr. Knight. We'll start with general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items, and we've provided up to 1 minute per person for a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to matters which are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board, and the board may not take any action on matters discussed during the public comment period. We'll start with in-person, and we will start with Goat Puppet.
Morning. Los Angeles is a dirty N. Why do I relate a dirty N word? Because nasty Los Angeles continues to discriminate against the public when it comes to curb ramps and sidewalks. I just heard this morning in transportation, you spend up to $6,000 on a fucking bump on the road. Do we really need that shit? Maybe you should cite people for speeding. Maybe you should stop these assholes in government for saying it's okay to drink alcohol till 4 a.m. That would reduce the problem, not this bullshit of $6,000 for a goddamn hump on the street when the goddamn ramps off of, what's this shit over here, Spring and 2nd Street by LA Times on the corner doesn't have a curb ramp. And it's dangerous. Fuck you.
All right, Mr. Knight, we'd like to go on to the virtual platform.
Very well. President Corson, we'll go ahead and start with Audit LA.
Good morning, everyone. I want to discuss the L. Ron Hubbard Way and the fact that it is not open for parking, and there needs to be parking. And I also, speaking up against any kind of street vacation, because they already kind of got one by making it a no parking street and the endless permits. While they're not endless anymore, thankfully, that's declining. But still, you know, there's issues with the people needing to visit the hospital at Kaiser. And I had somebody from Kaiser yesterday come up to me at City Hall and thank us for what we're doing and advocating, because it's important to people at Kaiser that, you know, about the planters, about the street being open for them to get through, and also parking. They have a lot of people that are visiting there, and the city will not make it, they keep telling people who are visiting the hospital. And so here there is parking. There's no proof that the city has that it's not parking, and yet nothing's being done. So I'm asking you guys to please, like, put it, it's all, a lot of stuff going on with that one street. And I'm asking you guys to do what part you can do to make it, to ease the
Thank you.
burden for the community.
Thank you, Audit LA. That's 60 seconds. We'll move next to Jill.
I'm going to continue to harp on the fact that we do not want a street vacation on L. Ron Hubbard Way. The reason why they're doing that is because it's a cult and they're hiding their crimes against children and other people. There was a case in Waterbury, Connecticut, where the person was held captive for 20 years, and he set a fire to get himself out. The woman who held him captive was Kimberly Sullivan. So please, we have a lot of Kimberly Sullivans that are running the cult, that are holding people captive, that are helpless, that want to escape. And if you close that road off, you're totally imprisoning them even more. Do not do it. Have a heart. Look at what's going on in the world of child trafficking. Bye.
Thank you, Jill. We'll move next to Gigi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I want to echo what Audit was saying about the street vacation. I am totally against the street vacation. We saw that Clearwater, Florida had sold a street to Scientology. You guys need to do the opposite. You need to tell them no when they approach you. Or if they give you some like crazy amount of money, like $500 million, and it legitimately makes sense, okay. But do not sell it for like 1.3 million. That's ridiculous that Clearwater gave in to Scientology. And just realize how valuable that road is, that street is, not just to Scientology, but to us. And it's valued at way more than 1.3 million. So get $500 million for it at least. You should actually put metered parking there. It would help Kaiser out. There should be parking there. If someone's listening and got a ticket on that road, challenge it, because there is no proof that there's no parking on L. Ron Hubbard, and people need to follow through and actually push it and see where you guys can prove it.
Thank you.
And since you, okay.
Thank you, Gigi. We'll move next to Henri. Go ahead.
The city is broke, and your own city controller has said so. Over $1 billion are lacking. How do you make more money legitimately? I know of a perfectly legal way. You prosecute Scientology for the repeated 5611 and 5612 violations on their Blue Building campus on L. Ron Hubbard Way. They owe you $2 million just for those planter violations alone. $2 million, okay? Go collect the $2 million. And on top of that, you add the parking meters on that public street, because they, again, are violating the law, putting up their own fake signs. And Bill Delvac and his little simp buddy, Daniel Reardon, have the audacity to lie to the city and try to get an illicit and unlawful street vacation. Do you know what happened in Utah? Over 91 cases came forward for the LDS cult of child abuse, but they didn't just go after the cult. They're going after the city officials, too, for allowing the institutions. That means you. And LA and all these other places are next.
Thank
So
you.
do your part.
Thank you. And President Carson, I do see an additional hand raised on the Zoom platform. We have also received an additional in-person public comment card.
Let's go with the Zoom platform first.
Very well. MD Media, would you like to offer public comment this morning? I see that you've unmuted. However, I'm not receiving any audio input from you. Please speak loudly and clearly into your device.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go. Would you like to offer public comment?
Yes, general comments. I'd like to call in about, I was at City Hall on Saturday for the hands-off protest. I looked up and I noticed our flags over City Hall are tattered. They look terrible. Please have those replaced. All 20 flags. There's 19 American flags, and then there's a POW flag. Every single one of them look absolutely terrible. It's a disgrace to this city. Please look into this. I'm going to call in every day until this is taken care of. Thank you.
And that concludes the Zoom public commenters. President Corson, for general public comment.
Thank you. We have one last card for Jessica Meany from Investing in Place.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jessica Meany from Investing in Place. I'm here to support Commissioner Chavez in the presentation on ED9, Executive Directive 9 from Mayor Bass, to finally create a capital infrastructure plan for the City of LA. As you'll probably hear in today's presentation, the City of Los Angeles is the only major city in the United States without a capital infrastructure plan, and boy, is that costing us in so many ways: public health, safety, efficiency, project delivery. We see duplication of services across the many departments working in our public spaces, our streets, our sidewalks, our parks. This is a tremendous opportunity to really do some systems change, to really reform some broken, outdated processes. I do want to say, though, that I've been researching this for several years. I've looked at probably 45 now capital infrastructure plans and many City of LA reports. This is not an easy lift, and it's been something that's been talked about since 2012 in the City of LA. Miguel Santana, when he was CAO, he was calling out the very issues this $1 billion budget crisis is affecting the city right now. One thing that when I talk to city staff who work on these issues, they always bring up to me is, boy, do they need a vision from policymakers.
Please go ahead and wrap up that 60.
Last thing I'll say is they are waiting for direction from you guys and from city council to tell them what the priorities should be in our public right of way and in the park so that they can create this capital infrastructure plan. I encourage you to meet with the council to really craft a vision so city staff can get to work. Thank you.
Thanks, Jessica. All right, with that, we'll close general public comment for today's meeting and move on to multiple agenda item public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment for up to 1 minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item. And I believe the only in-person card we have for multiple agenda item is Goat Puppet.
Regarding your 6 p.m. Public Works meeting, fuck all items, especially the one on sidewalks, because you continue to have a programmatic problem with the sidewalk and streets in which the public pays for. That is very discouraging when you hear about a $1 billion deficit, $24 billion stolen on homelessness, and yet you want to kick people off a public sidewalk and street. It does not jive, niggas. It does not jive. And the reason why I have to say it this way is because I've been taught by dirty niggas. This is how America is doing to the population of ignorant, stupid, incoherent taxpayers that don't.
Which item are you speaking on? Please
I'm
stick to the
sorry,
item.
lady. Take that mask off. I don't know who the hell you are. Are you a bandito or what? Yeah, I'm on item number 1. Repair program. Isn't that have to do with sidewalks, goddammit? Doesn't have to do with fucking curb ramps, goddammit? Doesn't have to do with fucking infrastructure, goddammit? Where's the service? $24 billion stolen and unaccounted for by this fucking government. And not one goddamn person in here, not one goddamn taxpayer has the balls, the nuts to speak up against where the fucking money goes. We're gonna put $6,000 into a program for sidewalk repair on number 1, bitches. Or as the lady in the mask said, stay on topic. No, fuck you. I am on topic, biatch. Why do you wear a mask? Are you afraid
Is this
of
about
me?
the bid?
Are you afraid of me?
Can you
Do I
please stay
have
on
a
topic?
disease?
This is
I'm
regarding
just
the bid.
disabled. I'm a disabled
Stay on
man
topic
with
or
mental
this is
health,
your one warning.
and I'm dealing with these fucking issues.
This is your one warning. Please stay on one of the agenda items.
Yeah, sorry, asshole. So long as I'm alive, so long as God wills me to speak about the issues and the bids and the program and the service and the activities, it's all connected to a broad umbrella of the ADA Title II, in which this city discriminates against people like me with mental health issues. It's the only way I inspire myself not to kill myself is to come here and vent and speak the facts, Jack. Now, if I were wrong, that security guy would be up my ass right now. Or LAPD would be in here and shoot me like they shot that fucking Chinese
Comments
guy
have
downtown.
nothing to do with bid item number 1. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Knight, with that, we'll go to multiple agenda item comment on the virtual platform, please.
Very well, thank you, President Carson. I'd like to make a brief announcement that I've confirmed, Board of Secretariat staff is confirming that the visual accessibility of the Zoom platform is available to attendees on the Zoom platform. So for those of you who are not able to see the 2 cameras showing the commissioners and the speakers, you may want to sign out and sign back in because we do have visual going out. And we'll start for multiple agenda item commentary with Audit LA. You'll have 3 minutes to offer your multiple agenda item comment. Please identify which item you're speaking to. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. And just to let you know, though, I only see the board, not the audience. But, okay, I want to start with number 1, and that is with the sidewalk repair. My chair right now is very broken, and the reason why it's part of the reason why it's broken is because I traverse a lot of miles back and forth on these sidewalks and streets, and it's killing it. It's breaking it. It's and then but then the insurance doesn't allow me to get a new one or repair because you have to wait a certain amount of time. So it's devastating, and it's kind of it devastates me personally to see that this bid is only is a $2,000 bid. I get it. Maybe you're just doing for one little, I don't know what it is, but I wish we would see like the other one that has the 8 million. How many millions for a theater? Like, why can't we take those millions for a theater and the other agenda item and cancel that? Because do we really need theaters? I'm not saying we shouldn't have theaters. That's not my point. But like I
Audit
said
LA, you have
before,
60 seconds per item, and you did identify that you were speaking on item 1. It's now time to move on to a
well,
different item.
I'm combining the two, okay? Because I'm comparing. I'm using two art things and I'm comparing them. That we could.
Which other item other than item number 1 are you speaking on?
The one about the theater, I don't know the number because I don't have an agenda with me. I'm not in person. So the one about the theater, all the money going towards the theater, Miss Happenstand, and give me my time back, please. It's you should know your agenda. Okay, so instead of building that theater, have Disney build the theater, put that millions of dollars towards sidewalk repair. We need it. We need curb cutouts. We need, and then, and as far as the other one, if you need me to move on, fine. The lake. I am terrified. Like, I have a friend who goes shrimping, and I'm like, I'm terrified. Like, I
Please
wouldn't
identify
eat
which
this.
item you're speaking on.
The one, and I hope you pause my time, Mr. Knight. The one about the lake monitoring. Okay, you're asking for a lot of money for lake monitoring. Okay, and I'm saying I have fear of our water. So if you let me finish, I have fear of the people fishing and stuff in our waters. Okay, so yes, I want things monitored, but monitoring isn't enough. What happens beyond the monitoring? Will that monitoring just fall flat and that's it? Okay, we monitor it, there's problems, but will there be follow through in cleaning our waters? So because I do care about our fish and our the wild gaming and stuff like that. It's disgusting. And also the other one about the one where you're increasing yet again another bid. All these massive increases, it's continuous. We're in $1 billion budget. There has to be better oversight. There just has to be. Whether it's, they can't just keep coming
Thank
back
you.
to the trowel.
Thank
Is
you,
that my
Audit LA.
time? Okay, I hope I had my full time though.
Thank you. That's 3 minutes, and we'll move next to Henri. Please identify which item you're speaking on as you start your presentation as you start your comment for each item.
Yes, hi. I'll be speaking on all agenda items here. I'll go ahead and start with number 1. Why is it that this board has such disdain for the disabled? I witnessed my friend Audit LA, who you just heard speak several times, on the sidewalks that bids like this, projects like this, keep saying they're repairing. But I know for a fact that Ulysses Grant, a council member, has literally admitted knowingly that your department takes minimum of 10 years just to even consider a repair, let alone actually execute. It takes about 20 years to actually execute the repair of a sidewalk. So 20 years that you're sitting there hating and stewing on the disabled population, and you never actually taken care of them. And so that begs the question, where is that money going and where is it coming from? Well, I can actually answer that, all right? For a fact, we know that these people doing the bids are actually good friends of Mayor Karen Bass, and she gets major kickbacks from it. But that's not even the worst of it, okay? That's not even the worst of it. You could actually get that money legitimately by prosecuting violators of LAMC 5611 and 5612. Scientology owes you $2 million. You could easily actually execute that project well under a year. They have the money. It's in their banks. Go get it. Go get the money. $2 million. They owe it to you, all right? You could easily use that money to actually execute and finish agenda item 1 within time. Not 30 years, not 20 years, not 10 years, but now. You could do that now. That's a legitimate way to make money. I know the city loves corruption, but that's a legitimate way you can make money. Moving on to, we have the tiny home shelters. I know for a fact, okay? I know for a fact that not only the solicitation of those bids, but the actual developers are close friends of Karen Bass, and those kickbacks from those developers go straight to the many umbrella branch organizations that tie into Inside Safe. What are you going to do when the feds that launched the task force to audit the homelessness program, and allegedly the city, especially this particular department, is claiming to address the issue of homelessness, knock on your doors and ask your family members to turn over all your computers, all your cell phones, and all the other shit that you guys are clearly defrauding the city of money. Moving on to number 3, we have yet another tiny home shelter. We know for a fact, again, same developers tied into the whole fraud that is Inside Safe, and now there's a whole task force from the feds coming to you guys. The doors will be knocking. That money is fake made up money that you stole from the taxpayer, and we know it to be true. That's why the task force is in existence. Same for number 3 and 4. Those tiny home shelters,
Thank you.
one of the actual $250,000 donations came from a celebrity
Thank you.
who's tied with
That's
Karen
submitted.
Bass.
And that concludes multiple agenda item commentary on the Zoom platform, President Corson. We do have the additional in-person commentary who indicated they would like to offer multiple agenda item commentary. I believe it's Jessica.
I'm sorry, what was that?
There's one additional person who offered a comment card and requested to speak on multiple agenda item commentary. Jessica?
I misread it. Thank you. Jessica, did you want to speak on multiple agenda items? No? Okay. Thank you. With that, we will close multiple agenda item public comment for today's meeting, move on to the approval of the minutes from Friday, March 21st. If there is a second to my motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. There's a first from myself and a second from Vice President Chavez and Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of minutes, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and the approval is unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. We'll move on to the presentation from our Vice President, Jenny Chavez, on ED9, Capital Planning Steering Committee presentation.
Thank you, President Corzine, and good morning, colleagues and guests. It's my pleasure to give you guys an update on the work that we've been doing with the Mayor's Office of Infrastructure on Executive Directive 9. This will be the first of regular reports that we will be giving publicly to the board, and hopefully we'll invite folks that are stakeholders and anyone that's interested in the topic to also participate during these reports. And so I'm just going to give kind of a general overview and introduction to Executive Directive 9, and then if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer questions. But it's this information will be regular, and we are also working to provide a subpage on our website that will have regular information as well, where this presentation will be posted, as well as any additional external reports that are developed outside of the work that is being done. So just kind of an introduction, identifying the problem. So as our guest, Jessica Meany, thank you for being here, highlighted, there is a lot of work that the city already does in terms of spending on infrastructure. But there has not been a comprehensive, cohesive plan on how we set priorities. And so Mayor Bass issued an executive directive in the fall of 2024 that essentially says, let's put together a capital planning steering committee that combines all of the departments that do work in the public right-of-way, which includes all of our bureaus, as well as other departments that do work in the public right-of-way. And that includes Department of Transportation, Department of Water and Power, City Planning, Recreation and Parks, and others. And the reason that is really important is the first time that senior staff at the department head level have come together in a concerted fashion to meet regularly to discuss priorities and capital projects that are happening in each of the individual departments. So herein lies sort of the proposed solution, which is a framework that we're looking at setting forth. And like I just highlighted, problem infrastructure spending without a plan. That's kind of where we've been. The status quo, as long as I've been in the city, is that we, every year we spend energy and time and effort to build infrastructure for taxpayers and for residents, but we have never really had a clear, comprehensive, defined plan that everyone in the city can agree on. So like I said before, we spend over $1 billion a year on infrastructure and personnel and projects. You know, as you know, the budgeting occurs year to year, which sometimes we have good years and sometimes we don't. But capital projects aren't funded that way. As you know, they require multi-year funding strategies. So because there are so many departments, 15 that do work in the public right-of-way, each of them essentially has been defining the priorities for their own departments, but really they've never come together to do it in a way that is prioritized in a citywide, cohesive way. A lot of cooks in the kitchen, I guess you could say, right? And as Jessica mentioned, we are the only major city in the US. Out of the top 25 cities, based on population, we're the only one that doesn't have a comprehensive capital infrastructure plan. And there's a lot of benefits to having that, as I mentioned before. You know, it's to me, I look at it as a tool for us as a city to collectively set priorities for infrastructure investments in the public right away. The leadership of the city has the opportunity to set their infrastructure priorities through this document and through identifying measurable outcomes. And the reason this is important is because it creates transparency, not just for leadership, but for the public to see what are the goals, what are the metrics, and be able to track them in real time so that they can actually see where their dollars are going. And I would say, given the budget realities that we're dealing with in this current fiscal year and in the foreseeable future, it's more important now than ever to be more efficient and to set the priorities at the get-go before we start going down the path of setting projects and assigning staff and assigning funding or pursuing funding strategies, because we have to figure out how to do more with less. And finding efficiencies citywide across departments is especially important now, given the challenges that we are facing and are going to continue to face, especially on the staff side. So Executive Directive 9 is the framework. And you might be thinking, okay, this sounds pretty good. How do we go about creating a capital infrastructure plan? And so the directive sets out that framework for the solution. The actual text of the executive directive is available online. We're going to be posting it on the website, but it just really does focus on public right-of-way, what we're doing in those public spaces in between. Like I mentioned, it's going to include parks, sidewalks, streets, and all of the infrastructure within them. So, street lights, sidewalks, trees, these are all assets that we have in our public spaces, and the public right-of-way area is our largest public space in the city. So if you think about it that way, it really hits to the quality of life for residents, for everyone that lives in the city and visits the city. It really lends to sort of their overall experience when they're interacting with their day-to-day neighborhood and community where they live, where they work, where they go to school. And the executive directive also references and takes into account initiatives like Healthy Streets LA. And it goes one step further by saying, other than just creating a capital infrastructure plan, or CIP as you will hear it commonly referred, we need to make it implementable. So really looking at what the departments are doing, all of the work that they're doing independently is also aligned with what other departments are doing. Because remember, we have 15 departments working in the public right of way. Sometimes they don't know what each other is doing, and that leads to potential problems with project deliveries, timelines, funding, all of that. So the goal is to optimize that work. So going back to Executive Directive 9 and the 5 goals, there's clearly aligned 5 goals. The first one is reforming the governance. The steering committee, which I said is comprised of the heads of all of the different departments and bureau heads and their staffs, have voted on a charter, if you will, essentially guidelines and norms that they've all agreed to abide by. And that is a dynamic document that will continue to be amended and altered as the need arises. And that also contains an external engagement strategy, which I'll go into a little bit later. Also, funding and revenue streams. We've already are looking at the existing funding, but also coming up with ideas for new funding. Streamline delivery, like I mentioned, track and managing our assets, and then finally, a capital improvement plan, which will list projects, provide metrics, both short-term and long-term goals, and identifying projects of highest need. So I kind of already went through this, but I'll just to kind of help you visualize what each goal means. The first goal of reforming governance, it's a living document. This will also be a document that we will be, that is a public document, but for all intents and purposes, just helps align all of the key department leadership so that everyone's operating on the same page. The next goal on 2, this one's really important because over the years, there have been a lot of different proposals of how to generate revenue and how to seek and fund both existing infrastructure work and new projects. So the CAO is leading this funding report. I know that council has also asked for a funding report on this, so we are going to be sort of hopefully joining those efforts to look at all the capital funding needs and then have a really streamlined proposal on moving forward how we're going to generate revenue for all of the projects we need to deliver. And this is especially important, as you all know, given that we are going to be hosting major events in the coming years. We have FIFA, we have Olympic Games. You know, as I like to say, company is coming over for dinner, so we have to get everything ready. And nothing happens without deadlines, and I think while we're not spending money on the Olympic Games per se, we do have deferred maintenance that we haven't funded in a long time. So this helps precipitate some of those investments that we need to do anyway. Goal 3, streamlining delivery. This is really more focused on the different existing working groups in the public right of way, and having that work be more streamlined. And that includes discussing topics like transportation grant implementation, complete streets and what we learned from that work there, accessibility in the public right of way, especially important with the requirements that we have under Willits and also in hosting the Paralympic Games. Capital project intake and prioritization. This is really wonky, but it's a very important thing. It really kind of hits home because when you don't have everyone operating under the same rules of how to prioritize a project or how to submit a project, it creates a lot of confusion and inefficiency. Fourth goal is track and manage assets. As I mentioned, all of our assets in the public right of way, we just need to know what we own and what we have. It's really important that everyone is on the same system. Oops. And then hopefully culminating in the result of a capital improvement plan, really critical for organizing and all of our investments and everything we are putting together. Really important work is happening right now with the recovery, but we also have to move forward, and this is where the topics of resiliency come up, and how we build back better. That's really important and something that's going to cut through every single priority project that we have, is always looking at it through that lens. Let's not repeat the same mistakes of the past. Let's try to use it as an opportunity to build a better city, and that's what all of our goals are. And then one thing I think that we're also really looking at is, because we are the only major city that doesn't have a comprehensive capital improvement plan, there's a lot of examples and there's a lot of learning that can be done from other major cities. And we're definitely looking at that. Because of our size, that does cut against us and is a challenge that we're working through. But we also have a lot of data and comparables that we can learn from. So it's really nice to be able to pick and choose sort of what makes the most sense for us in Los Angeles, because we are unique. Not just our size, but our governance, and just how we operate is very unique to LA. We're special, as I like to say. And so this kind of just gives you, and this is really, I think, a really important slide, especially on the public-facing side, just mapping out what it's going to look like in the next year, and what our milestones are. And this really is about transparency. What are the goals we're trying to hit, and how close are we at sticking to the goal? So right now, we're working on aligning and creating the list of CIP projects that are going to be focused on the games. Like I said, companies coming over, so we do want to ensure that our public right-of-way is accessible, that we have streets that are passable. We're going to have a lot of folks using arterials and traveling from major, either like public transportation to get to the venues at the game. So it's really important that the assets in those areas are at a status where, are traversable, where you're not having people tripping and falling on the way to the games. That's not what we want. So that's kind of the first major goal, but there's more work that is going to be happening over the next year. With the release of the proposed games CIP in the fall of this year. And like I said, a lot of work happening in the public right-of-way subcommittee. One thing that I think is a priority just overall for all of us, and something that we are hearing over and over again, is our maintenance backlog. Our maintenance backlog is something that we're really focused on and is a big priority. So a lot of work is going toward that. Also project delivery and program delivery, as well as new project development. Looking ahead. So that's where we come in. our work is cut out for us in a huge city such as ours, 450 square miles, 11,000 miles of streets, 9,000 miles of sidewalks. We need to approach our infrastructure issues, bit by bit. We are working in concert with the mayor's office and helping to get that input and get the word out. And I would say, looking in the near term, it's really important that we keep interested in key stakeholders involved. And I've already been working on presenting to outside stakeholders like neighborhood councils, and local chambers of commerce, different organizations. And I invite all of you, my colleagues on the board, to take off your board hat, and when you are out in the community, meeting with neighborhood councils or stakeholders, talk to them about the work that is happening in the city relating to capital infrastructure plan, because it isn't just about the games coming, although that is a big part of the near term. Long term, it's really about creating this, again, prioritization based on that community impact. What is important in each of these communities? Like, hear from them, what is it they care about? A lot of times you're gonna hear maintenance. Maintenance is a big issue. And we wanna take that into account, but also new projects. What else do they wanna see in their communities? It's really important to take all that input and put it into the capital plan, because the plan won't be as robust as it needs to be, and it won't provide the equity that we need it to provide if we can't get that input. So that's really important. I will be working in partnership with the steering committee to develop regular reports out. So this is just kind of the initial update, but as we get more work and more input, I'll be providing additional updates on the work that we're getting. And if you ever hear from other folks who want to give additional input to us, this is a good venue to do it. But we will also be out in the community and sharing the work that's happening on the day-to-day. So thank you all for the time today. Please let me know if you have any questions. Again, special thanks to Jessica Meany and her leadership with Investing in Place, that thought leadership and the data and the research that you guys have done has really informed a lot of this work. And if it wasn't for that constant leadership that you've made known, I'm not sure we'd be here today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice President Chavez. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Great job. Thank you. Okay. We will look forward to the next quarterly update, and we will now move on to consent items 1 through 8. I believe we have a clarification. Oh, we got to do bids. Sorry about that. We have bids 1, 2, 3, 4, and then consent items. We'll start with bids for item number 1. Got ahead of myself. Bids for the sidewalk repair program, package 72, access requests, acceleration sites.
Thank you, President Corson. This morning I'm joined by Board of Public Works Secretariat Staff Member Matthew Castellanos. We will go ahead.
On the renovation project, did that pass, or what was the update on that? Item 8. Okay, so I'm okay. No problem. Okay, thank you.
Hey, Matt. Thank you. The first bid opening for item 1 is from Geronimo Concrete Incorporated, and their total bid amount is $2,564,115 to $564,115. The second bid opening for item 1 is from Alameda Construction Services Incorporated. Alameda Construction Services Incorporated's total bid amount is $2,366,992. $2,366,992. The third bid opening for item 1 is Environmental Construction Incorporated. Environmental Construction Incorporated's total bid amount is $2,909,516. $2,909,516. Next bid opening for item 1 is from Axiom Group. Axiom Group's total bid amount is $2,593,473.57. $2,593,473.57. And the final bid opening for our item number 1 is from Access Pacific Incorporated. Access Pacific Incorporated's total bid amount is $2,799,707. $2,799,707. And that completes the bid opening for the bids for item number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. Is there a second to my motion to receive these bids? Thank you, Mr. Knight. There's a first from myself and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 1, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang. And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and item number 1 is open, received, and declared forthwith.
Item number 2, bids for in Council District 1, Tiny Home Village Homeless Shelter in Cypress Park.
Thank you, President Corson. Once again, we are joined by Matthew Castellanos from the Board Secretariat, and we'll proceed with bid opening for item number 2. We'll start with Ford EC Incorporated. Ford EC Incorporated's total bid amount is $4,993,700. $4,993,700. Thank you, Matthew. And that is the only bid received for item number 2.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. Is there a second to my motion to receive these bids?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. There is a motion from myself and a second from President Pro Tem Grant.
Very well. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on item number 2, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. Item number 2 is received, open, and declared forthwith unanimous.
And next up, we have item number 3 in Council District 6, Tiny Home Village Sun Valley Metro Link.
And the first bid opening for item number 3 is from Ford EC Incorporated. Ford EC Incorporated's total bid amount is $4,893,300. $4,893,300. And that's the only bid received for item number 3.
Thank you. Is there a second to my motion to receive this bid?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. There is a first from myself and a second from Vice President Chavez.
Very well. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on item number 3, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and item number 3 is received, open, and declared forthwith.
All right. And the last bid we have for today, item number 4 in Council District 2, Tiny Home Village Van Nuys Metro Link.
And item number 4, we'll start with Ford EC Incorporated. Ford EC Incorporated's total bid amount is $3,971,100. $3,971,100. And that's the only bid received for item number 4.
All right. Is there a second to my motion to receive this bid?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. There's a first for myself and a second from President Pro Tem Grant.
Very well. We will go ahead and take a roll call vote on item number 4, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and this item is open, received, open, and declared forthwith.
All right, moving on to our consent items 5, 6, and 7. I believe we have a clarification on item 7, but we will not be taking it off of consent.
Would you like to hear the clarification at this time?
Yes,
President
please.
Corson? Very well. Mr. Castellanos, would you mind approaching the, you can do it from the chair, you can do it from the podium. It's very well.
Hi, Commissioners. City Attorney, TJ. So item number 7 is a bid that was received on time on March 18th, before the March 19th deadline. The only reason it's being opened now is because it was mislabeled. It was mislabeled for a city employee from a different bureau, so we forwarded it. But the contractor notified BOE, Bureau of Engineering, that it was not read. But technically, it was received by the board on March 18th before the March 19th deadline, so we had to bring it back and read it into record. Are we on item 7 now? Because I did not bring the bid with me. I thought we were going to skip to item 7. I thought we were going to go through item 5 and then 6, and then I'll bring the bid proposal. But I don't have it on me now.
If you, Mr. Castellanos, if there's no questions from the commissioners, you can go back to your desk, bring the bid, and we can read it, open it and read it into the record now.
Okay.
If there are no questions from.
So let's back up. So then it should not be on consent.
It can still be on consent, yes. The item still can be on consent. We're just receiving clarification from the front office why, and perhaps for the contractor, why the bid is being opened and read into the record at this point, when all of the other bids on the project were opened and read into the record on March 19th.
And there is a single bid?
Correct. It's a single bid that has not yet been opened and read into the record. The other bids on the project have been opened and read.
Well, let's take it off consent, just because it's not necessarily, like all the other bid items were not consent, so.
Very well.
Okay, so we'll take items 5 and 6 on consent, and then we'll come back to item 7.
So if in the interim, while we take items 5 and 6, if Mr. Castellanos would mind going back and bringing that bid back.
No objection.
Thank you.
All right. Is there a second to my motion to approve items number 5 and 6 on consent? Thank you, Mr. Knight. There is a first from myself and a second from Vice President Chavez.
Very well. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on items number 5 and 6 consent items, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. And items 5 and 6 are approved unanimous.
All right. We will move on to item number 8, task order solicitation number 89 to CDM Smith in Council District 14.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Brian Powell, I'm Senior Civil Engineer with the Bureau of Engineering's Clean Water Division. We're here today to request authorization to award task order solicitation number 89 to CDM Smith from the pre-qualified on-call wastewater and environmental engineering services consultant list to provide pre-design, design, bid and award, design services during construction for the Hollenbeck Park Lake Rehabilitation Project with a budget authority of $5,407,600, including contingency. Just a bit of background. This is a Measure W funded project located in Council District 14 in the Boyle Heights neighborhood within the Upper LA River watershed. The project proposes to improve Hollenbeck Lake and the surrounding areas within the park. In addition, the project proposes to install Green Street elements within the Boyle Heights neighborhood and the surrounding drainage area. The goal of the project is to improve the water quality of stormwater runoff, capture and infiltrate stormwater, reduce localized flooding, and provide neighborhood greening. The project proposes to capture, treat, and infiltrate approximately 348 acre-feet of stormwater per year. The project will improve Hollenbeck Lake by removing sediment, installing a bentonite liner, repairing the lake edge, improving the lake's treatment systems, including a chemical feed system, aeration system, and water recirculation system, and adding constructed wetlands to the perimeter of the lake. Infrastructure improvements include diversion structures, pump stations, and underground storage tanks that will allow an additional 5 acre-feet of subsurface or in-lake storage. Additional improvements within the park include approximately 11,500 square feet of porous pavement and bioswales. In addition to the improvements within the lake and the park, the proposed Green Street improvements in the surrounding neighborhood will include 18 dry wells, 50 street trees, and 35,000 square feet of parkway bioswales. The estimated construction budget for the project is $38,636,000. In terms of the schedule, upon award of this task order solicitation, we will begin pre-design and the design phases and anticipate completing design in fall of 2027. We anticipate construction beginning in spring of 2028 and completing in the summer of 2030. For the scope of work in this task order solicitation, again, it includes pre-design, design, bid and award, design services during construction, and community outreach and engagement. We received 4 proposals on August 30th. The lowest proposal was from Stantec for $3,386,000. The second lowest from CDM Smith for $4,006,000. The third lowest from Hazen and Sawyer, $4,424,000. And the last was Black and Veatch, $7,630,000. Following a detailed review of each proposal and interviews with all firms, CDM Smith, with the second lowest proposal, received the highest score and was ultimately selected. In terms of the business inclusion program, CDM Smith was able to meet all 5 categories within the business inclusion program. And to briefly cover funding, this project was approved for funding by LA County under round 4 of the Measure W regional program, and the transfer agreement was adopted by this board on January 17th of 2024. The city is set to receive $25,311,316 in Safe Clean Water regional funds in 4 disbursements over 5 years. The city has already received the first year of funding, totaling $482,582. In addition, the city has appropriated $5 million in Proposition O funds and $304,822 from the general fund. So to conclude, we recommend that the board authorize the city engineer to issue task order solicitation number 89 to CDM Smith for the Hollenbeck Park Lake Rehabilitation Project with a total budget authority of $5,407,600, and this includes contingency. That concludes my report, and I'm ready to take any questions.
Thank you. I believe we have a public comment card for this item, so we'll take that one, and then we'll go to commissioner comments. Vivian, you'll have 1 minute.
Hello, good morning. My name is Vivian Escalante. I am with Boyle Heights Community Partners, and we are a nonprofit for historic preservation, education, and community participation. I also sit on the Hollenbeck Park Board Advisory Board, and we are actually here to speak, or I'm actually here to speak, with regards to the project that we currently have, which has been long overdue. It was a project that was actually started even when Huizar was in office. Then the money disappeared, then it came forward. So we are asking that we actually go ahead and try to implement this, expedite this, because our lake is really important to us. It's one of Los Angeles' oldest lakes. It's not the one and only oldest lake, but it's really very important that we start to bring this lake up to the beautification that it really deserves and has been long overdue, and is now going to be into the process of like just declining. So I'm here to say, please help to expedite this and allow us to receive all the funding that is actually necessary. And we also are going to be participating in a lot of the decision making with our council district as well. Thank you very much for your time.
All right. Thank you, Vivian, for taking the time to come down and give that public comment. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, is there a motion on this item?
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. There is a first from Commissioner Grant and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 8, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kane.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and this item is approved unanimous, and we'll move forward forthwith.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Powell. Let's go back to item number 7. Advisement, Council District 8 bids for Figueroa Primary Sewer Rehabilitation 87th to 108th.
No, it's fine. And once again, I'm joined by Matthew Castellanos from the Board Secretary Office. And the bid opening for item number 7 is from MOCON Corporation, M-O-C-O-N Corporation. And their total bid amount is $10,421,606. 10,421,606. And that is the bid opening for item number 7.
Great. Is there a second to my motion to receive this bid?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. There's a first from myself and a second from Vice President Chavez.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote for approval of item 7, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. And item number 7 is received, open, declared forthwith, unanimously.
Thank you. And moving back to item number 9, Council District 10 Budget Revision and Final Closeout Change Order number 375, Royal Construction Corporation.
All right. Good morning, President Corson, Commissioners, City Attorney, TJ. My name is Asat Rukemetlian, Senior Architect with Bureau of Engineering Architectural Division, and I'm here to present this report and recommend the board to, number 1, authorize an additional $656,000 construction contingency, totaling $8 million in total construction contingency, and approve revised construction budget of $31 million for Vision Theater phases number 2, 3, 4, and portion of phase 5. Number 2, authorize city engineer to issue final closeout change order number 375 to Royal Construction for an amount not to exceed $878,000. And number 3, authorize the revision of funding table for construction contract awarded by this board to Royal Construction in February of 2018, which was revised by this board, motion dated May 22nd, 2024. A little bit of background on the project. On February 2018, board awarded contract to Royal in an amount of $23.5 million with contingency of $4 million for total approved construction budget of $27.6 million to construct the project. The project involved a building expansion, upgrades to an existing historic theater building. As part of phases 2 through 4, work included partial building demolition, shoring, hazmat abatement, a seismic retrofit, historical repairs and restorations for audience chamber, installation of new and restored auditorium seats, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire, life safety, infrastructure, and finishes. Department of Cultural Affairs requested additional scope of work to be added to the project, identified as Phase 5, as noted in the Municipal Facilities Committee report dated in November of 2022. Additional Phase 5 scope of work included additions of information technology work, marquee repairs and renovation, Phase 1 repairs, property line wall repairs and construction, parking lot upgrades, audiovisual and lighting redesign scope, and construction administration of the added scope. Phases 2, 3, 4, and portion of MFC approved Phase 5 were completed by Royal Construction and received statement of completion on February 26 of 2024. The remaining Phase 5 scope is currently being performed by General Services Department Construction Forces and their subcontractors, and is anticipated to be completed before July of this year. This contingency currently remaining contingency of $221,964 in approved contingency and requested increase of $656, $601, and 58 cents in construction contingency, totaling $878,566, will address the cost of final closeout change order number 375. This closeout change order constitutes the full and final settlement of all contractor claims, loss of productivity disputes, and or change orders requested for equitable adjustments for the work performed. and disputes for work performed by Royal Construction and its subcontractors and suppliers, including all costs, markups, time impact on the project for phases 2, 3, 4, and portion of phase 5. This concludes my report. And I want to mention I'm joined here by my colleague from Department of Cultural Affairs, Yvonne Farah, to assist me in answering any potential questions you guys have related to this report or the project itself. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Commissioners, do we have any questions or comments on this one?
Yes, this is the final. Yes,
As it relates to Royal Construction, yes, this is the final closeout change order for Royal Construction. And as I mentioned in the report, we are hopefully completing phase 5 by July of this year.
and when are we opening?
I will defer that question to my colleague.
And please state your name for the record.
Yvonne Farrow, Arts Manager, Department of Cultural Affairs, Project Manager overseeing the Vision Theater. The plan has been to open in 2026, so that's what we're gunning for, and hopefully that will be the date. If not, then later that, it's winter, spring, we'll see, of 2026.
When we took the tour early January, were we looking for fall opening?
No, never
No.
for a fall opening, no.
It's always going to be
Yeah,
2026?
it's always going to be 2026,
Okay.
winter, spring.
It's been a long time.
It has, and it's, it's kind of like the community is ready, everyone's ready, the baby's almost there. We're almost there, so.
I was on the Area Planning Commission for South LA from 07 to 14. I remember taking action with regard to phase 1 back then, so.
Yeah, well, with the delays with COVID, with fundraising, with not getting the
It's
funds
okay.
until that big gap in the middle between 2010 and 2017 when we started, it's been unfortunate, but it'll be worth it.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, commissioners, any other questions or comments? Commissioner King?
So thank you for that info. I think I wanted to just echo Commissioner Mitchell's comments. I think many of us have received a lot of comments about when the Vision Theater is opening. There seems to be multiple requests with change orders coming through. So we're really hoping that there isn't any more, hopefully, and that construction will be on schedule. So thank you very much.
All right. Seeing no other questions or comments, is there a motion on this item?
Second.
I'll move.
We have a first from Commissioner King and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 5, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
All ayes, and this item is adopted, and we'll move forward forthwith.
All right. With that, commissioners, we can hopefully anticipate a town hall in Council District 10 at the Vision Theater in winter, spring of 2026.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 10, Council District 11, revised construction budget and order, Mike Perlich and Sons.
Good morning, Commissioners. Patrick Schmidt, I'm with the Bureau of Engineering, Geotechnical Engineering Division. And this board report is to request that we revise the construction budget and issue a revised construction order, Mike Perlich and Sons, for the Temescal Canyon Road repair project at a location about 1,400 feet north of Pacific Coast Highway. The work order number for this project is E190-9420. And this is contract number C-144947. Within this board report, we're recommending number 1, that the board authorize a revised construction budget of $746,434, including contingency, for the Temescal Canyon Road project. Number 2, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the revised construction order after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. Number 3, authorize the city engineer to issue change orders and supplemental agreement change orders within the revised construction budget of $764,434. And number 4, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to sign any supplemental agreement change orders. As you know, the BOE, Bureau of Engineering, administers the emergency pre-qualified on-call geotechnical structural contractors list in order to provide emergency and urgent necessity geotechnical and structural construction services for public works projects. On December 13th, 2023, the board approved the 2024 through 2029 emergency pre-qualified on-call list of 6 contractors and authorized the city engineer to transmit and execute contract agreements. The current term of the contract is 5 years, and they expire on January 2nd of 2029. Temescal Canyon Road is a major thoroughfare in the Pacific Palisades area. And at this location, which is about 1,400 feet north of Pacific Coast Highway, there's a road seepage issue. Water's coming up from the subgrade. And as a result of the unstable subgrade and the traffic over the road, the pavement has been distressed at this location. The damaged area is approximately 125 feet long and 45 feet wide. Currently, due to the stress of the road, the southbound lanes towards Pacific Coast Highway and the center median are currently closed, and the traffic, the roads are currently only open to emergency traffic, and the traffic is being routed along the east edge of the road, and it's being used by the Army Corps of Engineers for cleanup related to the Palisades fire. This project will construct a new sub-drainage system consisting of approximately 375 feet of new 6-inch and 8-inch diameter sub-drains, 6 new curb drain outlets, and then we'll reconstruct the damaged pavement area. On February 8th, 2025, the board president was informed of the damage to the road and approved an initial construction budget of $500,000 in accordance with the emergency contract procedures. The initial estimate at the time for the repair was $1,048,020, including contingency. On February 11th, 2025, bids for the project were solicited from the contractors on the pre-qualified on-call list. On February 18th, 2025, 4 bids were received, of which Perlich was the low bidder. Perlich's bid in the amount of $546,024 was 37.48% below the city engineer's estimate of $872,350. Due to the emergency nature of the work and the safety hazard posed by the damaged pavement and subsequent lane closures, a preliminary construction order was issued to Perlich on February 20th, 2025 with a not to exceed amount of $500,000 to quickly begin procurement of the construction materials and to assist in mitigating some immediate concerns. Since the initial assessment of the road, the condition of the road has further deteriorated. As a result, within this board report, we're recommending a 40% contingency to address any change orders or supplemental agreement change orders necessary to complete the project. Staff recommends that the board execute a revised construction for the project with Mike Perlich and Sons in the amount of $546,024 with a not to exceed limit of $764,434, which includes a contingency. Funding for the project in this amount of $764,434 is available in the SB1 Road Maintenance Rehabilitation Project Program Special Fund, Fund number 59V, Department 50, Appropriation Unit number 50 AZDQ. That concludes my presentation of this board report. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Do we have any questions or comments on this item? All right, seeing none, is there a second to my motion to approve this item?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. There's a first from myself and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 10, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
All ayes, and this item is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving to our last item for today, item number 11 in all council districts, request for authority, Urban Lakes real-time monitoring system.
Good morning, President Corsand and commissioners. My name is John Ball. I'm with Watershed Protection Division within LA Sanitation. And I'm joined with my colleagues, Brian Trong and Clifford Shum. So we're a team of scientists that provide technical support for water quality issues throughout the city. And today I want to talk about task order solicitation S24, which is specific to our urban lakes in the city of Los Angeles. So this TOS, task order solicitation, is technical support for our real-time monitoring systems that we operate in several lakes. This includes Echo Park Lake, Machado Lake, Lincoln Lake, MacArthur Lake, and we also provide technical support for other lakes and water bodies in the city. The real-time monitoring systems consist of these sensors that basically take the vital signs of the lake, things like oxygen, pH, temperature, things that have direct impacts on the wildlife and aquatic organisms that live in these lakes. We also, consistent with LA Sands' mission, we also use this information to protect public health, because there is a connection between water quality and public health. So what we're asking today is just basically approval to move forward with this TOS. That would be to authorize LA Sand to award this TOS to FMF Pandion. That's a consultant that's on the prime list of consultants for our on-call contract. The total ceiling on this TOS would be $897,000. That includes a 15% contingency. So kind of what we're planning to spend is $780,000. And the term of engagement is 3 years with an option to extend for 1 year. This is a continuation of work done under a previous TOS under our previous on-call contract. And there's basically kind of 3 tasks that are associated with the work. One is just focusing on keeping the systems running, calibrated, providing consistent and reliable data. Task 2 is really geared at making the data available to end users, and it's could be focused on creating these data dashboards. We have a pretty neat system that we started under the previous TOS, and we want to really bring that to completion in this one. And then it's just for as needed technical support as issues arise, and we've had a lot of examples of that happen over the years, so we kind of have learned to expect that. Things like fish die-offs, these systems are really important for diagnosing the causes of those things, so then we can solve those problems. And so, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. We're really excited to work with this consultant. This is FMF Pandion. This is the first time that they're on our prime list of consultants. They've served as a sub to other contracts that we've had. They're a disabled veteran business enterprise, also a minority-owned business, and an emerging business. So I think it's really a testimony to the business inclusion program. Here you have this firm that's done really specialized work for us, and now they're taking the lead. So we're really proud to be working with them. Any questions?
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this item?
Quick comment.
Yes, Commissioner Kang.
So, Mr. Bell, thank you so much for the presentation. I've had an opportunity to kind of learn more about the project, and given the public's interest in many of these lakes and the parks that surround it, I think it's very timely. So I'm very much in support.
All right, thank you. All right, Commissioners, is there a motion on this item?
I'll move.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Grant, you had your light on and then you changed your minds. We have a first from Commissioner Kang and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 11. Starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes on this item is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you. Mr. Knight, have we cleared our desk for today?
Yes, President Corson,
All
we
right.
have.
It is 11:22.